Unmuted.
Okay, I think we should start now. We were actually waiting for some guys to join, but I think they'll join in between. Uh, Before I start, uh, just confirm me if you can hear me, if you are able to hear me, if you are able to see my screen. Either, yes, okay. Okay, so yesterday we talked about SAP HANA and SAP S/4HANA as a business suite. So we understood that SAP HANA has the capabilities of in-memory, which will help in basically the idea of uh, speeding up the processes, speeding up the transactions, speeding up the reports, and then SAP S/4HANA is the business suite, which is a new business suite delivered by SAP, which is totally built upon SAP HANA database. So we also understood that uh, we can migrate to SAP S/4HANA or maybe Simple Finance either from base, uh, from three different scenarios. First scenario is either you are not using SAP at all, so you are new to SAP and you are directly migrating to SAP S/4HANA and SAP Simple Finance. The second approach is you are already using SAP from the years, and either you are using classical GL accounting. So if you are using the classical GL
Gaurav,
account,
Gaurav, 1 minute. You are in which slide?
I'm on the first slide itself. I have not moved. I'm just recapping what we have covered yesterday.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So second scenario, as I told you, the second scenario is if you are already using classical GL accounting, and then if you want to move to S/4HANA and Simple Finance functionalities, that is the second scenario. And the third scenario is you are using new GL functionality within SAP, and now you have decided to move to SAP Simple Finance. So all these three scenarios we are going to see. We are going to understand what are the benefits, what are the challenges, and how the process, like what are the migration steps that are required to move to the new structure. Okay, so today what we are going to understand, I think most of the things also when we discussed yesterday, there were a lot of clarities that you got, like how the system will behave in terms of tables. Somebody has told he has heard that there is a AC docket table which will be updated. So whatever we have discussed yesterday, I think that the same thing I have on the PPT today. So which will be the tables removed, which will be the tables removed from general ledger accounting side, which will be the tables removed from AR and AP side. Similarly, the tables related to asset accounting and how the system will be. That is exactly what we are going to understand today in this session. So let's go ahead. So we are going to understand what are the new functionalities. Now, when I say this new functionalities, it can mean that either the new transactions at all, or it can be also like if there is no further, if there are no new transactions, at least the uh, technical side, the speed of all these processes will be improved. So when I'm saying the new functionalities within general ledger accounting, I doesn't mean then that there are some new transactions that has to be that is provided by SAP. But again, whatever are the transactions, for example, the posting of the general ledger document, generating the reports on the general ledger accounting, they will be beneficial because they will use the capabilities of SAP HANA, which will ensure that the speed is going up. Similarly, controlling, and we'll have the idea of what are the new reports which are available with the new structure. And finally, in the last slide, I am going to show you the functionality called as data aging. So this is what we are going to understand today. So we talk about general ledger accounting. So first of all, I think there is a question. When implementing simple finance, let's say currently client using classical, is it mandatory to migrate to new GL accounting or still use classical GL accounting in simple finance? Okay. So I think this yesterday also we have discussed this topic. So if my client is working on classical GL accounting today and he is interested in migrating to simple finance. So there are two options. Option one is you migrate to new GL accounting, use the functionalities which are available within new GL accounting like document splitting, parallel ledger, and then you plan to move to SAP Simple Finance. So this migration of classical to new GL accounting has to be done at the year end using the migration cockpit, and that is the reason that this approach may take more time compared to if you move to simple finance first and then move to new GL functionalities. Okay, so as I told you, the second approach is you can move to simple finance and then at the year end you can go for new general ledger accounting. Now what will happen if you move from classical GL to simple finance directly? So if you are doing that, you will not be able to use the functionalities available within new GL accounting. So document splitting, parallel ledger, these functionalities, even though you will move to simple finance, you will be not be able to use these functionalities till the time you are not implementing new general ledger accounting. Have I answered your question? So both the options are available. It depends on you. If you want to use all the functionalities, it is a better option to migrate from classical to new GL first and then to simple finance. But at the same time, if you want to move to simple finance as early as possible, you can do that, but you will not be able to use the functionalities of new GL accounting. That will be only available when you move to uh, when you perform the project of migration to new GL. Right. So yeah, Siddhi, have I answered your question, or it is still there is still some doubt? Okay, but client want to stick to his class. If he wants to stick to classic GL, then in that case he will not be able to use the functionalities of document splitting and parallel ledger. If he is okay with it, you don't need to move to new GL accounting then. Okay. So yesterday I remember that we talked about these tables. So can anybody tell me what is index table and what is total tables? What is the difference between the index table and the total table, or maybe any example? Anybody can unmute himself, and if you want to answer this, please answer. Nobody wants to answer this? Okay, I think total tables, I think there is no confusion. I think most of you would be aware that what is totals table. So FAGL flex T or GLT1, these are the totals table which are storing the totals of the transactional data. While there are table called like BSIS, BSAS, which are storing the open items and the cleared items when we run these reports FPL1N, FPL3N, FPL5N. So normally the data is picked up from these tables. These tables are called as index tables. So BSIS, BSAS, BSIK, BSAK, BSID, BSAD, these are all index tables. And FAGL Flex T is a totals table. Again, if you are on new GL accounting, you have the further uh, table called as FAGL BSIS, which will show you the uh, open and cleared items as far as new general ledger accounting is concerned. So what will happen is once you are moving to simple finance, all these tables will be removed. And the reason why these tables will be removed is till now we were storing the data in different tables. So when we perform the transaction, uh, the transaction is stored in BKPF as the document header and BSEG as the line item. Now this BSEG as a line item, it was not having many fields, so only the relevant fields are available, and whatever fields are needed extra for performing my open and clearing items, I was storing in these tables BSIS and BSAS. But now going forward, all this data, uh, all this information related to BSEG, BSIS, BSAS, everything can be stored in AC docket table. So that is the reason why there is no need of storing this index information into the tables. Okay, so all this information will be available in AC docket table. Okay, now what about the totals? FAGL Flex T. So why I was storing this totals separately? Because I have huge amount of data, and if I want to perform the totals, if I directly do the calculations on the runtime, it takes a lot of time. So it is always the better idea that for each and every transaction, my FAGL Flex T table should be updated, and it should have the correct totals records, which is automatically saved in the table. But now going forward, because of the simplified data model, you can perform all your calculations directly into the table. So if you want to perform the totals of some characteristics, there is no need to store this data into some table. Rather than that, you can perform this transaction directly in the runtime. So you can perform all your calculations in the runtime. So there will be no table which will be storing the data related to totals. And that is the reason why all these tables have been removed in Simple Finance, and whatever data was getting stored in this table, that will be stored in AC Docket. So AC Docket will be updated with all this information. I think there is a question in this case, how to determine open items and close items in AC Docket table. Yes, so there is a field which will be controlled. When I'll show you the AC Docket table, I'll show you how it is controlled. But for now, just understand that we don't need these tables, because we can directly, yes, because we can directly make the use of AC Docket tables, which will make sure that we are getting the reports. Now, yesterday also there was a question, if all these tables are removed, what will happen to my reports which I have created already? So I have a lot of Z reports which are already created on these tables. So what will happen to that? Do I need to change the code, whether they will work or they will not work? The answer is you don't need to do anything to that reports. They will run as they were running earlier. The reason is whenever you perform any report, like for example select star from BSIS. Now this BSIS, earlier it was a table, now it will become a view. View means view is just a query. So whenever you ask anything from view, BSIS, what it will do is it doesn't store any data in itself. It will just pass the information to AC Docket, it will collect the data from there, and to the end user it will be delivered as it was delivered earlier. So if you are an end user, whenever you run these reports, you will not realize that the data I am getting is not from BSIS, but it is actually coming from AC Docket. But from the technical point of view, the data is not stored in BSIS because BSIS has been removed as a table and it has been restored as a view. So if you have already some reports, already some customizations done based on these tables, don't worry about that, that will remain as it is. The only exception to this is if you are writing something. One is reading the data from BSIS. Reading means you are just asking, okay, please show me these details of this customer or maybe of this GL account. So it will just pass the data to AC Docket and it will bring the data. But if you're writing something on BSIS, that means if you are inserting some record on BSIS, that will not become possible now, because as I told you earlier, BSIS was a table, it was storing the data. So whenever you perform the insert statement, it will insert one line into the table. But now, because it is just a view, it cannot insert any data into that table. So in that case, if you have written some coding which is related to the writing something on the tables, on this tables which will be removed, in that case you have to change that code accordingly. So either you create a Z table in which you are storing this data, or you can write the code of yesterday, as somebody told, that if I want to add some field in AC docket from the technical point of view, you can do, because AC docket is the table which has the same characteristics as the characteristics which are available to other tables. So BSIS was the table earlier, so whatever characteristics you were able to perform there, you can perform to AC docket. But again, because earlier the scope of BSIS was limited, okay, it was only related to open items. But now, because we are using a single table for all different purposes within the finance, it is always the better option to don't touch or don't write anything directly on AC docket. So if you have the option of creation of the Z table in which you can perform your transactions whatever you want, that is always the better option rather than adding or deleting anything from the AC docket table, because this is the common table. It is storing all different data. So please don't touch this table. Okay. So any doubt in this slide? Anybody wants to explain me something more on this slide? Yes. The last point, that even the special purpose ledger. So because tables GLT1 and GLT2 are no longer available, so ledgers for these tables are no longer updated and can no longer be processed and analyzed in special purpose ledger. So if you are using special purpose ledger currently in your system in the classical GL accounting, you have to make sure that this ledgers will not work, because these tables will be removed. Now SAP is suggesting that if you are using the special purpose ledger, consider implementing new general ledger accounting. But even after that, SAP has provided a SAP note in which they are saying that even though I think Suddhi has asked this question, that if the customer still want to use classical GL accounting, so you need to contact SAP to provide the solution for this particular thing, special purpose ledger. So if you want to continue using special purpose ledger, you have to you have to ask to SAP for the solution. But currently in the documents or in the trainings which they have released, they are clearly saying that this particular thing will not be supported uh, in the simple finance or in the S/4HANA environment. Any question here? Yeah, Neeraj. Okay, I'm not able to do so. Okay, you can write your question. Yes, okay. Will the report not require a change when accessing BSIS now? Are you talking about the reading operation? If you are reading something from BSIS, there is no change required, because as I told you, whenever this report will ask something from BSIS, internally BSIS will take this data from AC docket and it will deliver to the end user. Yeah, if it is a view also, view has view. You can write the you can have the read access to the view. View is just the query which will store the data in the runtime. So you mean view will be called on the fly? Yes, exactly. Yes, you are right. So what will happen is whenever you ask any data from BSIS, earlier it was storing the data on its own, but now it is not storing any data because it is a view. So whenever I'm asking anything from BSIS, BSIS will internally go to SAC and fetch the required information, temporarily store within itself, and the query, whatever the query is performed by the end user, he will get the results from directly from the BSIS. But internally, this BSI has transferred the control to SAC and it has taken the information. Okay. Any further questions here? Okay. If no, let's go ahead. Now, the constraints, I'll not say this is a constraints, but these are some of the changes in Simple Finance or S/4HANA. So you cannot do balance sheet planning directly into the uh, SAP Simple Finance or maybe the within the financial module. The reason is that SAP, as I told you, has with the Simple Finance, they have come up with the concept of integrated business planning. So whatever planning you need to do, it cannot be done independently. It has to be done in integration. So that is the reason why till now, whatever planning you are doing for balance sheet, for cost center, profit center, that all you cannot do in the same way that you were using earlier. Instead of that, you have to perform all these plannings into the integrated business planning module. Okay, so you cannot run the reports for comparing plan data and actual data even in the profit center accounting, even in the cost center accounting, even in the balance sheet accounting. But this is not a constraint. You can perform these transactions in integrated business planning. How? I'll show you when we come to this topic. So for now, you just need to understand that planning function cannot be performed as it was done earlier. It has been improved and it has been added into the different module now. Yeah, report painter report will work as it is. So like, are you talking about the report painter reports which are already created for planned versus actual? In that case, yes, in that case, they will not work. I think that reports have been removed and they have been updated with the new reports. Okay, so the same reports, the planning and actual reports will not work as they were working earlier. Instead of that, there are some changes into that reports. Maybe in the report painter also the columns have been changed. But you can run these reports directly into the module called as integrated business planning. Okay, coming to AR and AP. So what we have done till now was related to general ledger accounting. We understood that what are the tables which will be deleted or replaced by views in general ledger accounting. Similarly, this is a list of tables which will be removed from AR and AP. So again, the index tables, BSID, BSAD, BSIK, BSIK, and then KNC1, KNC3, LFC1, LFC3. So these are the special general ledger transactions related to AR and AP. So all these tables again will be removed, and again this data will be updated in SAC, and these tables will be removed as the views. They will be removed as the tables and they will be replaced by the views. Now, what is like there will be the question in your mind when these tables will be removed and when these tables will be replaced by views. So the answer is, as I told you, within the migration project, I have different steps, or I have different phases. So my first phase is the preparation phase, in which I make sure that in my old system all the balance sheet is complete, all my profit and loss statements are complete, whatever adjustment documents has to be passed, they are passed, all my reconciliation is done, all the data is clear, I mean to say. So if the data is clean and complete, you are ready for migration to the new version. The second is the installation phase, in which all this new settings are installed by the basis consultant or the technical consultant into the new system, so that whatever are the transaction codes, whatever are the changes in the customizing, they are available for the functional consultant. So when this installation phase takes place, what it will do is, first of all, it will create the backup of all these tables. So BSID, BSAD, BSIK, BSAK, all these tables, there will be the backup which will be created for this. So BSID underscore BCK will be the table which will be created for backing up the BSID table. Now, once this backup table is created, it will be updated with the records of whatever is available in BSID. So if BSID is having 1 CR records, what BSID underscore BCK will be updated with 1 crore records or 10 million, whatever are the records available in BSID, they will be updated same in the BSID underscore BCK. And once all these records are available in the backup table, then these tables will be removed. So the delete operation will be performed on these tables. Once that is done, the final step is creation of the views with the same name. So then the views will be created with BSID or BSAD. So this is like you don't need to do anything from the functional side to making sure that how these tables will be removed, how these views will be created, because this is a technical step and this will be performed automatically when you install SAP Simple Finance add-on onto your new system, onto your old system, whatever. So this is how it gets updated. Now additional functionalities in terms of functional, there is something called as credit management. So this credit management was available in FSCM till now, but I think there is one question. Mapping of these tables to SE. Sorry, can you just retype that because it is not available to me now. Yeah, Neeraj, can you just copy and paste what you asked? Neeraj, are you typing the question? I think you can unmute yourself by okay, mapping of these tables to ACDoc will be technical step or will need to be done by, okay, mapping of what? Mapping of the tables and views? If you're talking about, yes, 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 this is technical step. You don't need to worry about this. It will be done automatically when you install SAP Simple Finance component. Not only that, which tables should be removed, which tables should be created as the views. There is no control from the functional side because this is the prerequisite. This is included in the installation template. So there is already the list of tables which are already listed in that template. So you do, as a functional consultant, you don't need to worry about which tables will I need to remove, which tables I need to create as a view. They will be done automatically within the installation phase. And your job as the functional consultant will only start like in the configuration after this installation phase has taken place. Yes, you will get AC docky with all these match tables. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. So I was talking about the credit management. Like there is a component called as FIARCR, which is a new component which is available because earlier this component was available within financial supply chain management. Now there are some benefits over FSCM. This we'll see when we'll come to this particular topic. So you just need to understand that there is some benefits called as credit management in accounts receivables. Similarly, when we talk about vendor information system, now this can be vendor information system and customer information system also. So the due date analysis, I think that the report was already available earlier, the due date analysis, but now this has been improved and you can perform overdue items analysis on the go. Which reports? We'll talk about that. So if you talk about the functional enhancements, like whatever are the new things available within Simple Finance, I don't think there are much things which have changed from AR and AP side. Uh, Obviously, the change has been on the technical level that the data will not get stored in different tables. Rather than that, it will be stored in a single table. But apart from that, the functionality wise, there are no many functionalities which are available in the latest version. Talking about the asset accounting, now this asset accounting has a huge impact when you are moving from the old system to the new system, because now in the new system, this asset accounting has been renamed as new asset accounting. Okay, so till this time, or maybe if you know that asset account, there was one component within asset accounting which was delivered by SAP some 5 years back, which was talking about the implementation of new functionalities, new depreciation calculation engine, EA-FIN component. So it was a business function which was activated, and it has the impact on the way the depreciation calculation was performed. So if you don't know, don't worry, it will be covered in this course, but just to give you the background. So this EA underscore FIN was a business function which was delivered by SAP around 5 years back, and if you implement this, or if you install this component, if you activate this business function, what will happen is your depreciation calculation logic will change, and it will become simple. And what SAP is saying now is, if you have already installed this, activated this component onto your landscape, this means you are already on new asset accounting. Okay, but if it is not a case, so now onwards, they will term that you are working on classical asset accounting or classic asset accounting. So going forward, so till now, either you are using classic asset accounting or new asset accounting. But if you are moving to simple finance, you cannot work on classic asset accounting. So this is a prerequisite. So currently, if you are working on classic asset accounting, you have to migrate, you have to activate the new business function, you have to adopt the new functionalities which are available within new asset accounting. You cannot continue to work on classic asset accounting when you move to simple finance, because that is the new asset accounting is the only option available in simple finance. Okay, don't worry about this. If this is something new to you, we are going to cover this topic in detail. So the prerequisites, if you want to move to new asset accounting, what are the prerequisites? Obviously, because this new asset accounting is available on the new GL accounting. So currently, if you are using classical asset accounting, if you are using classical GL accounting, then you cannot move to new asset accounting. So even if, like, now you may have the question, like I think it was asked earlier, that if I am using classic asset accounting and I am not agreeing to moving to new general ledger accounting, and as here I'm saying that if you want to move to new asset accounting, new GL accounting is must, and at the same time I'm saying that you cannot use classic asset accounting into the simple finance. So what will happen to my data? It means if I'm using my classic GL accounting, I cannot move to new asset accounting in my new system, and that is the only option available. So here the answer is, if you are using classical GL accounting and you are not running the project of new GL accounting, you are directly moving to simple finance. In that case, there are some functionalities which will be taken care by the new GL accounting. So even if you are not running the separate project from migration to classic to new GL accounting, even then also, when you perform this migration, SAP Simple Finance, there are some of the functionalities which will automatically taken care the movement from classic to new GL accounting. So as soon as you install the SAP Simple Finance add-on, and there are some configuration steps that you need to perform, there are some functionalities which will be adapted directly into the new GL accounting. So even if you are not activating document splitting, even if you are not activating the ledger, parallel ledgers approach, then too you can use the new asset accounting into the new system because some of the functionalities are already moved to new GL accounting. Is that clear, or you want me to repeat because this is very confusing, I think. I think Sudhi has asked this question, so yes. Okay, you want me to repeat this? Yes, okay. So see, in the first thing, what we told is, if my customer is not willing from moving from classic GL accounting to new GL accounting, so what is the option available? And I have given you the option that no problem, you can continue to use classical GL accounting in simple finance. Okay. Now second thing, it is like if you are using the classical GL accounting, you cannot move to new asset accounting. So if you merge these two statements, this means that if I'm using classic GL accounting, I cannot move to simple finance. So I cannot move to new asset accounting. So how can I make sure that even after using classic asset accounting, I can use the functionality available in new asset accounting? To answer this, when I said that if you move to SAP Simple Finance from classic asset accounting, you cannot use some of the functionalities like document splitting, parallel ledger. But at the same time, once you are moving from classic to simple finance, there are some of the functionalities which will be automatically converted into the new GL, and this is one of the functionality. So in short, even if you don't implement new GL accounting, you can use new asset accounting into your new system even if you are continuing to use classic asset accounting. Sounds clear, or okay? Yes. So in short, what I mean to say, it is not necessary that you need to move to you need to create a separate project for classical to new general ledger accounting if you want to use new asset accounting. It is not the case. Whenever you will move from classical to simple finance, automatically there are some functionalities which will be converted into the new GL. But there are still some functionalities which will not be converted, for example, document splitting, parallel valuation. So if you want to use this, you have to make sure that this migration project has been completed either before implementing simple finance or after implementing simple finance. Okay, so this is what exactly I told: parallel valuation using account-based approach and ledger-based approach. Now I think I want to answer from any one of you. What is the difference between the account-based approach and the ledger-based approach? Because this particular thing, I think this will come in picture many times when we discuss new asset accounting in future. So I want everybody to be clear what is account-based approach and what is ledger-based approach.
Account-based is basically you have only one ledger, but the
Mm-hmm.
delta for the second valuation or
Mm-hmm.
um, second what do you call it? For example, like the second gap, you put it into different GL accounts, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't show it for the your first gap for reporting.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Likewise, for the second gap, probably you use the accounts of first gap plus this delta accounts and show it together to show the real second gap value. Whereas in
Mm-hmm.
ledger approach, you use two different ledgers basically to post these different valuations.
Okay. Yes, you're
We,
right.
this is Neeraj here. We
Yeah,
generally
Neeraj.
use it for your IFRS compliance and all. So
Yeah,
for
both
IFRS
of
compliance,
the.
I saw, right, so either you use an account-based or a ledger-based approach. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a parallel ledger, you can create different valuations based on ledgers. However, if
Mm-hmm.
it's an account-based, so whatever is the delta, as my friend correctly said, you can post it into that account.
Yes, exactly. So, in short, when I'm talking about ledger-based approach, in this base, I can create multiple ledgers for multiple purpose, right? For local GAAP, IFRS, I can have two different ledgers. Okay. But if I don't have this ledger concept, I can use the account-based approach in which I have separate GL accounts for different purposes. When I'm passing the depreciation entry for locals gap, in that case, it will update my account A, while when it is updating IFRS, it will update account B. Okay, but in case of ledger-based approach, I don't need to do this because even if it is updating the same account, I can run the report based on the ledger, right? So these are the two approaches which are available in the current system also. So you can either use account-based approach or you can use ledger-based approach.
Thanks, Gaurav. I'm sorry I got disconnected for last 5 minutes due to
Okay.
some internet issues.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing I remember you said was that new GL accounting is a prerequisite for asset
Yes.
accounting.
Yes.
So you would say those people, those who are on classic GL,
Mm-hmm.
those who are using older version of fixed assets accounting,
Mm-hmm.
so they'll first have to come to new GL, then only they'll be able to migrate.
No, you missed the important discussion that we had. Okay, let me
Okay.
explain again. So it is like this, as you correctly said that if it is a prerequisite of new GL accounting, and if I'm not moving from classical to new GL, I'm directly moving from classical to simple finance. This itself means that I cannot use new asset accounting if I'm using the classic GL accounting, right?
Okay.
Yes. So now,
Okay, I got it. So because fixed assets accounting is one of the very important components of the overall package.
yes,
So if a
yes,
company
but
is
this
not
is.
able to use fixed assets accounting, so
Mhm.
all those who are currently on classic GL, so there
Mhm.
won't be any option. They'll first have to
No,
mandatorily
no,
get into the new GL.
no. I'm coming to it.
Okay.
So. So you whatever you are saying is what you understood till now, but let me explain. So for example, if you are not moving from classical to new GL, you are directly moving from classical to simple finance. Okay. So normally if you move from classical to new GL, you will implement different functionalities like document splitting, parallel valuation. All these functionalities can be activated if you are moving from classical to new GL. Okay, but if you are not moving from classical to new GL, you are directly moving from classical to simple finance. In that case also, there are some small functionalities which will be activated automatically as a new GL. So even if you are moving from classical to simple finance, automatically system will assume that from the asset accounting point of view, you are already on the new GL. Although you will not be able to use the functionalities of document splitting, parallel valuation, but still within the asset accounting, it will be assumed that you are already on the new GL.
Okay.
So this line, if you see, prerequisite
Mm-hmm.
of new general ledger accounting, this means you cannot implement new asset accounting into the classic GL accounting which is not updated to simple finance yet. So if you are using classic GL accounting today, right,
Mm-hmm.
without implementing simple finance, and if you are planning to implement new asset accounting directly, you cannot do. But if you are using classic asset accounting on simple finance, this means
Mm-hmm.
you have already been migrated to simple finance, and within simple finance, there is no prerequisite. You can directly implement new asset accounting. So
Okay.
if I
So you
divide
would
this into
so you would say those which are currently on the classic GL account, they can
yes,
directly migrate their fixed assets accounting function to this
yes,
SAP Simple Finance, and then
yes.
later on introduce new functionalities of the new functionalities available in new GL for fixed assets accounting.
No, for fixed asset accounting, that will be immediately available.
Okay.
See, fixed asset accounting, whatever functionalities are needed as far as new GL accounting is concerned, as soon as you implement simple finance
Hmm.
into the classic GL
So
accounting, it will automatically.
for example, like your depreciation, instead of period based, it became day based, right? So for
Yes.
each period, this is the difference between the classic and the new GL.
Mm-hmm.
So once you migrate from the classic to the simple finance, so this
Mm-hmm.
depreciation method would automatically be available to you. You would say this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got
Yes.
it. Right.
Yes.
Got it.
But the functionalities which are related to new GL, like document splitting, parallel valuation, that will not be available till the time you are not migrating to new GL accounting.
Right. I think we discussed yesterday. Those will be new functionalities which we need to introduce in the simple
Yes.
finance.
Yes.
However, these functionalities would be inbuilt available if you are coming from in with respect to fixed assets.
Yes, exactly.
Fine. Thanks. I'm sorry. I think I lost for those 3 or 4
Oh, not
minutes
a problem.
of
Not a problem.
discussion.
This is
So,
a very important discussion, so I want everybody to understand, because whenever we are going to talk about this new asset accounting functionality, I want everybody to be on the same page as far as what is the prerequisite, what are the valuation options that we can use, because we are going to discuss all these topics again and again when we'll actually come to the scenario or the configuration part.
right.
Okay, so asset accounting prior to this. When I'm saying prior to this, this means activation of the business function EA underscore FIN. So if you are already using EA FIN, see EA FIN component you can activate even in the new GL also. So if you are not using simple finance, if you are just using new GL accounting, if you have already activated EA FIN and this means you are already on new asset accounting. Although it was not the name given by SAP earlier, but it is assumed that if you are using the new depreciation calculation engine, that means you are already working on new asset accounting. Okay, and if you are not using this business function, if you are not activated this business function, this means you are still on classic asset accounting. And this classic asset accounting, as I told you, is no longer available. So you have to move to new asset accounting in simple finance. Is this clear or any doubt here? I understand there is a lot of confusion because classic asset accounting, classic GL accounting, new ledger accounting, new asset accounting, this creates a lot of confusion, but you just need to understand the difference between the two and what is the prerequisite, uh, which particular term is called as classic asset accounting, which particular term is called as new asset accounting, then this course will become very easy. So any doubts here in this slide, or we can go ahead? Okay, let's move ahead. So this is related to new asset accounting. You can record the leading valuation of asset accounting in any depreciation area of new asset accounting. It is no longer necessary to use depreciation area 01 for this. So if you want the leading depreciation area to be changed from 01, that is also the option available. So till now, only 01 was the leading depreciation area, while other were the non-leading depreciation areas. So now you don't have any, but again, this is just the option. I think we don't need any non-leading depreciation area to be uh, non-01. So I think it is always the better option to create 01 as the leading depreciation area and rest of all as the non-leading. This is just the option available. That's why I've added in the slide. The system now posts both the actual values of the leading valuation and the values of the parallel valuation in the real time. So up till now, if you remember that if you are using the parallel valuation or parallel depreciation areas, whatever you post only for 01 as the real time. While for remaining depreciation areas, you post it periodically or you do not post at all. Because if you just want for the reporting purpose, you don't post at all. But if you want it for, if you want the postings also, then you post not in the real time. You only post the APC values, right? But now going forward, you can post in real time to all depreciation areas, irrespective of whether it is a leading depreciation area or not. Okay, I think these topics will be getting cleared when we see the actual system. So don't worry about this. We are going to do some configuration also related to new asset accounting. At that time, you will see what is the difference. So you have the choice of using the ledger approach or the account-based approach. Now, as I told you in the first session, in the demo session also, so till now there was a tight reconciliation between the asset accounting and the financial accounting. So whatever you were updating in the asset accounting, it has to be like the financial postings were created and there was a reconciliation like ABST2 screen in which we need to reconcile whether my asset balances are matching with my general ledger balances or not. right? But now going forward, because I'm not updating different tables, I'm updating only one table, AC.K, which will store the data of all different submodules. So I don't need any reconciliation between the two submodules. It will be posted automatically in the real time and for all valuations. So parallel documents will be created for each valuations, and they will be posted correctly from the beginning. So till now, whenever as I told you, in case of parallel valuation, normally I don't post the real-time postings into my non-leading depreciation areas. But going forward, whenever I'll post anything into my new asset accounting, it will be posted in all the valuation areas. At the same time, they will also be real-time postings, and they will separately create different document types or different document numbers for each parallel valuation. I can understand that this can be difficult to understand, but when we do the actual transactions, I think it will be very clear. So you don't need any delta areas for parallel valuation. There will be this concept of delta areas will be removed because there is new functionality called as technical clearing account. So this technical clearing account will remove the need of this delta areas for parallel valuation. Valuation specific postings. So if you want to post only to a particular depreciation area, that is also possible. You don't need to like, I think till now, are you aware of the transaction types within asset accounting? So if you want something to be posted only into one depreciation area, normally we restrict this through transaction types as of today. I don't think many of you must be using this functionality, but this was the functionality which was available. Is somebody aware of this? If I want to perform any transaction, any asset transaction to a single ledger, is it possible in the current system?
Actually, this is the base for calculating depreciation for IFRS. That
Mm-hmm.
delta one which you said,
Mm-hmm.
that was the reason. So
No.
I'm say first depreciation goes into your 0L, which
Mm-hmm.
goes to all your valuation areas.
Mm-hmm.
Then to your ledger specific depreciation area specific key transaction type, you post the depreciation in that specific area, and then the delta comes and which gets posted into
Mm-hmm.
IFRS capital ledger. So that was the method of making compliant with the IFRS compliance.
Okay,
So
you
you
are
can say
talking
now
about the
going forward,
data areas.
right? No, I'm
Okay.
saying functionality of posting ledger, posting
Mm-hmm.
depreciation into specific valuation area.
Mm-hmm. No, that is okay. I'm talking about, see, depreciation is okay. Depreciation, if you are deciding that I need to post periodic depreciation to all these valuation areas, that will be taken care by system directly, right? But if I want to post any manual transaction to a single ledger, is that possible?
That was through transaction types. And
Yes,
say
exactly.
you can select the different ledger, say
Mm-hmm.
ledger IFRS.
Mm-hmm.
So you can in the entry screen you can define IFRS ledger and use the
Mm-hmm.
specific transaction type, which will allow
Okay.
posting in that specific
Exactly.
parallel ledger. I
Yes,
used to do
exactly.
this almost 6 years back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is the reason why I'm telling that most of you will not be using this. So what happens is in the transaction type you can control,
Because
like,
my unique skill is new GL and IFRS compliance. मैंने बहुत किए हैं. When
okay,
I
okay.
used to do configurations and all.
Yeah. So see, when we talk about these transaction types as the control, normally, for example, my 100 transaction type is used for acquisition. So I can control that if I'm posting anything to transaction type 100, which ledgers should be affected, right? This was the settings which I was maintaining till now. If I want to post anything to the particular ledger, but now going forward, I don't need to control the ledger specific posting through transaction type, because I can directly see the ledger field in any transaction which I do. For example, if I want to perform a asset related transaction, I can just select that I want to perform this transaction only to ledger 0L or only to the depreciation area 01. So I don't need to control this ledger specific postings through transaction type. Rather than that, I can find the ledger field available in my postings. This is exactly what I mean to say with this line.
Okay. And Gaurav, can I presume that as a blanket rule
Mhm.
throughout, now no reconciliation is required?
Yes, yes, that is exactly what we talked about in the demo
Yes,
session.
correct.
So
Correct.
because there is no need of reconciliation, the reason is everything is getting updated in a common table. So
Correct.
how will you reconcile? Till now, what was happening is there were separate set of tables for asset accounting, separate set of tables for financial accounting. So that is the reason why we needed reconciliation, whether all these tables are matching with each other or not. But now, if everything is getting stored in a single table, there is no need for having this reconciliation exercise.
So Gaurav, for those clients, those who are also using ICE solutions,
Mm-hmm.
for them, whatever data they are using, that will
Mm-hmm.
also be migrated to this very table, AC doc A,
Sorry, can you repeat which clients you mean to say?
industry specific solution if they are using.
Okay.
So if they have
Yes,
a
yes,
few
yes.
additional,
See.
hmm,
Okay. So if they are using industry specific solutions, they must be having the separate tables for that industry specific solutions. But if we talk about the financial accounting, see in simple finance, we are only talking about the tables which are related to financial transactions.
hmm,
So even if you are using SD, MM, PP, PS, they will not be affected because whatever I'm talking about here, it is completely related to simple finance and it is completely related to the financial transactions,
hmm.
right? So even
So what I
going
mean to say, even
forward,
even those who are using industry specific solutions for the
mm-hmm,
financial aspect, a few
mm-hmm,
extra fields to get added to the basic
mm-hmm.
tables.
Yes. So this
So,
this
so
industry
that will
specific.
automatically, right? So that will automatically, I believe, that will be mapped to the AC docket.
No, no, no. Understand one thing. This industry specific solutions, if they are using, it is still not developed by SAP. So whatever tables they were using currently, they will remain as it is. Because see, this again, as I told you, this SAP Simple Finance is a new product. So
Mm-hmm.
currently they are doing the development on it, and as of today, whatever are the standard functionalities which are available within FI, CO, and Material Ledger, they are all
Mm-hmm.
migrated to the AC docket. But there are still some, as you told, the industry-specific services which are only for financial transactions. They are still not updated with this AC docket. So I think
Okay.
in the later versions they may come up with this solution also. But currently I'm just talking about the standard SAP FI and CO components.
Okay. But more or less, the logic would remain the same. I'm say, irrespective whether industry specific or not, finally it has to be parked somewhere in this table
Mhm.
only, because the whole idea is to have one common table.
Yes, yes, yes. So even see they are coming up with the simple logistics also. So in that case, whatever tables are related to my MM and SD transaction, they will also I think the common idea will be to create a single table for that transactions also. But I don't know, like it is up to the they are it is still in the development. So what is going on in their mind that we cannot predict. But yes, for
And
industry specific solutions, I think they need to bring that fields also into the common table.
because out of our business experience, I can see most of the clients currently which are migrating to this third generation technology, the new technology,
Hmm.
they are larger clients, right?
Yes.
Like your oil and gas companies or maybe utility, electricity utility companies and all.
Hmm.
And a couple of them are already running on IS utilities.
Right, right, right.
So that's why that was one major question coming up, that how is it going
Yeah,
to affect the current industry specific solution and how the reporting
exactly.
would be going forward.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I think they are under the development. So I think if maybe it is also possible that currently if the client is asking for this particular solutions, they are providing something in the customized solution. But as of now, SAP has not released anything related to the changes related to industry specific solutions.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much for the insight.
Yeah,
One
I
more
think
question.
Veda, yeah, just a minute. I think Veda has the question that what is industry specific? So industry specific is like if you are running into the industry which is a separate industry. For example, let's take an example of bank industry. let's take an example of retail industry. All these industries have their own requirements. Like retail works totally completely different compared to the banking industry. So SAP has the solution for all these industries also. So SAP has the solution for banking, SAP has the solution for retail, SAP has the solution even for uh, the public companies also. So what Neeraj is asking is that even if, for example, banking and insurance is an industry-specific solutions, so are the tables related to this particular industry-specific solution that is also going to be merged in AC.K or not? Even oil and gas, he has given the example. Oil and gas, SAP is providing one module which is called as industry-specific solution for oil and gas industries. So he's asking whether all these fields will be updated in AC.K or not. Okay, yeah, Neeraj, you can go ahead with the question.
Uh, what happens to the FSCM, financial supply chain management, especially recording of financial assets? For example, your back-end, middle, and front-end offices, which used to be there in FSCM. Going forward, how is it going to be accommodated in the simple finance?
Yes, see, as far as FSCM is concerned, the changes are only made to IHC, in-house cash management. Apart from that, in the current version, they have not made any changes to the FSCM component as such. So I think in the demo session also I told you that there is a component called as cash management, new cash management component. So that is the only change which is available as of now. But again, the lot of changes are expected in FSCM also.
Okay. But nevertheless, now any financial transaction happening at the end when you finally settle in the back-end office, that will hit the AC.K table now.
Yes, if it is not only financial, controlling transactions also, even if you are passing the secondary cost, that is also going to update your AC docket table.
Thank you very much.
Gaurav, yeah, you said that the secondary cost element, should be actually affected within CO, but how it is taken care to avoid to posting in a file?
No, see, again, AC doc A is a common table. It is now FI and CO are not two separate components. They are going to be the same component. FI and CO in simple finance are no two separate components. It is only one component. That is the reason why even I told you that master data has also been merged. So irrespective whether you are creating a GL and the cost element, the properties are going to be same. So when you are updating anything, whenever you are updating the secondary cost to the uh, secondary, you are posting any secondary cost, it will also get updated in AC doc A with that particular document type. So through the document type, you can control whether this has been the reason for the secondary cost or this is related to something financial accounting. Right? So if I have the document type CO defined for all my controlling transactions, so I can just track whether this is my controlling transaction or financial accounting transaction. Okay, let's go ahead. So what will happen to my existing data? So today in my asset accounting, if I have some data, what will happen to that? So already existing master data, transaction data will not change once you activate the new asset accounting, but you have to migrate you have to change the customizing settings. The reason is, as I told you, there are a lot of changes in new asset accounting. So whenever you will migrate the data from the old system to the new system, before performing this migration, you have to perform some configuration activities. Clear? I think somebody is writing some question. Neeraj, are you writing some question? I can hear the noise of the keyboard.
No, not me.
Okay, so you need to have the customizing done before performing the migration to new asset accounting. And not only that, once you perform the migration of your master and transaction data into the system, then also again you need to perform some configuration steps which are new to the system. As I told you regarding the technical clearing account. So till this time there was no need of technical clearing account because we had the delta depreciation areas which were posting the difference postings between the two depreciation areas. But now going forward, we need to have a technical clearing account. So all these settings have to be done in the new system. Also, as I told you, there is a business function called as fin_AA_parallel, which has to be implemented, which if it is not implemented already, if you want to use the functionality of new asset accounting. Don't worry about all this. I think I just added here because just to give you the glimpse of what is going to be when we talk about the new asset accounting, we are going to talk all this in detail, and believe me, even if you are new to asset accounting, you will not find any challenge in understanding all these concepts. So what is the difference in controlling now? We understood what is the difference in general ledger accounting, what will be the differences in AR and AP, what will be the difference in asset accounting. Now let's come to the controlling. So line item based controlling, this means that all your line items also will be updated in AC docket table. So till now what was happening is this controlling was happening at the totals level, which was like COEP was a table which was holding the line item details, and it was only passing the consolidated entries to the financial accounting. But now because everything will be stored in a single table, all the line items related to controlling will be updated in AC docket. There are some changes in the variance calculation. How the changes are, I'll show you when we see the system. Changes in the WIP calculation and changes in the variance calculation for production order. So there are some new transaction codes which are provided by SAP to perform all these transactions. Reporting, as I told you, there are some new reports which are available only in the Simple Finance module. This is just the list of the report. Whenever you get time, if you have the server access, just explore these reports, because these are the new reports which are provided by Simple Finance. They were not available earlier. So I think somebody was asking the question like, what will happen to my report painter reports? So that maybe that is the case, that all these old reports which are having planning data into it, they will be removed, and you will find the new reports in which the planning data will come from IBP.
Gaurav, actually, what you said about this variance, I just thought of asking production order, this cost estimate planning, the standard price. So how it is taken care? Is there any changes? Because basically we use bill of material, so I write the cost estimate and then we will release the standard price. It is actually the planned price. So the same the way how we are doing currently, it's going to be same, or is there any changes?
No, see, whatever you are doing currently in terms of product costing, the derivation of the plant price, that is not going to be changed. Only changes into the variance and the WIP calculation. So there are some new screens which are available in using which you can perform these transactions.
Okay.
Business content.
So does that mean it's only a new screen, or is there some functionality changes as well on WIP?
No, because it is a new screen, there is obviously there are some new fields into it. Yeah, I think Jacob had the question related to BW. Jacob, can you reframe your question? What exactly you mean to say?
Now, Gaurav, in BW, we have got business contents, right, where we pull the FI data, right, which pretty much pull the data from the FI tables. So does those business contents also got changed, or is it still the same? I mean, because if the underlying tables have got converted to views, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm presuming, I mean, the business content should not change then.
Yes, I don't think it will be changed, because as I told you, you can always read the data from views. But again, if like if you want to have the better use of that, like if you want to increase the speed going forward, whenever you are asking any data, rather than asking from the views, you can directly ask from this AC docket table.
So, Gaurav, I believe the data source which you will create before transferring to the BW,
Mm-hmm.
now that would be automatically taken care. That now instead of using the previous tables,
Mm-hmm.
now it will use AC doc A to create the data source and then
No,
finally
it will
that will
not.
be in BW.
No, it will not by default change the data source. So the tables, whatever you have provided in the BW, they will not change. Instead of that, again, as I told, if you are taking some data from BSIS, it will automatically redirect to AC.A and it will gather the information from there. Even
No,
if you are, if you
I
are
think
asking for the.
when I'm transferring data from SAP
Mm-hmm,
to BW, so first
mm-hmm.
I create a data source in SAP, where from
I
the
think.
tables I
Mm-hmm,
go through like your standard functionalities. Data
mm-hmm,
source is created in SAP, where it reads
mm-hmm,
data from different tables of SAP and creates a
mm-hmm,
data source. And then
mm-hmm.
from ECC, it gets transferred to BW.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
But
believe,
again,
so now going forward, I believe this is automatic functionality already taken care by standard SAP. But instead of reading tables from different tables now it will
mm-hmm.
pick up data from AC doc A.
No. By default, it will not change because, as I told you, they will create it as a view. So it will still continue to extract the data from the views.
Okay. So but means technically we do not have to do anything in that
No.
when we are
Technically,
transferring data to BW.
yes, exactly. You don't have to do anything because they are already created as a view and you are taking the data from the view directly. Okay, so these are the list of reports. I am going to share this PPT with you. I think there is some disturbance. Please ensure that you are muted.
Gaurav, my name is Ravi and I have a small question.
Yeah.
So many of the tables got removed, right? BSIS, and all those stuff. So why do we still need BKPF, BSEC? We are already having AC doc here, right? Why they don't remove BKPF,
Okay.
BSEC?
Yes. So BKPF is a header table. We are not storing header information in the SEDOC. So that is the reason why BKPF will remain as it is, because header information even after moving to simple finance, you will only get in BKPF. About BSEG, BSEG is going to store the prima nota. Now you might have the question of what is prima nota. That is, I'm going to explain in the future sessions. The reason is that BSEG is my source table. So whatever information is coming to my SEDOC, I have the source available in the BSEC table. I'll show you when we talk uh, about the prima nota. There is a functionality called as a prima nota which is available in AC docket. So that will give you the clear idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, please please mute your mic. I'm still getting disturbance. Okay. So just have the look at all these reports. I just added the list of reports here, which you can check and see if they are working fine. And these are the list of reports which are removed from the system. I think there is some problem here. I think this slide is not correct. FBL3H, how it can be removed? FBL3N. Okay, don't go with this slide. I think I done some mistake here. Just avoid this slide. Yes, now coming to another functionality of simple finance called as data aging. Okay, so can anybody tell me what is data aging?
It's basically history.
Okay, history means what? Like
History of
what type of history?
uh,
Basically, to see how long this data is residing and is it active or not, and then archiving it.
Exactly. So Are you aware of the archiving functionality within SAP?
Yes.
It is like if I have a lot of data available in my production system, what I do is I can archive some of the data to improve the speed of the system. So when I talk about archival, what does it mean? It means that I select some data, I remove it from my production system, and I keep it on separate hard drive, right? Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. So if I want to generate the report on my archive data, what I have to do then? Because this data has been removed from my system and it has been kept into the separate system or separate hard drive. So if I need any reports based on my old data which is already archived, can I generate the reports in SAP?
So first we have to restore the data. So here,
Exactly.
going forward, do we need to restore, or it'll like automatically it'll get it?
Yeah, no, exactly. What you are saying is the current situation. So if I'm archiving my data, what will happen is I have to restore this data back into my system, and then only I can run the reports. So this archival part, again, restoring the data is not a small thing, because the basis consultant, or maybe I don't know who is a technical consultant who is responsible for archiving, he has to do a lot of effort to archive this data and again to restore this data, because this is not a small effort. It takes a lot of time and effort also. So what SAP is delivering with SAP Simple Finance is the concept of data aging, in which instead of archiving your data, you have SAP has created two different storage areas. One is called as the hot area and other is called as a cold area, which means the data which you are using on your day-to-day basis, that will be stored in the hot area, and the data which is not so useful, you don't use into your day-to-day activities, you can move it to the cold area. Now this hot area is something which will be extracted very faster using the HANA capabilities, and the cold area, again, it can be extracted without restoring or anything, but the amount of time which will be taken to extract this data can be slightly longer than the hot area data. So you are what you are doing is you are moving the data from hot area to cold area. Okay, when I'm talking about data aging is a functionality which will move the data from your hot area to cold area, so that whatever queries you perform on the hot area gets faster. Okay, and at the same time, you don't have to archive this data, you don't have to collect into the separate server, separate hard drives, and restoring. All these activities can be removed, and you can directly query on the cold area data also. It will take slightly more time than the hot area. So this is a new concept of data aging. We are going to talk about this in detail. I have a separate session of half an hour when we discuss about data aging, what are the steps that you need to perform when you configure the data aging functionality, which type of data you should archive, or sorry, you perform the data aging, what is the classification of data. There is something called as hot, cold, and there is something called as frozen data also. So this is a topic which we are going to discuss. So this was all about the new functionalities, or maybe the changes in the existing functionalities, what it has. So I think most of you got the idea. So majority of the changes are related to asset accounting, because in Simple Finance, the classic asset accounting is not supported. So we need to make sure that this new asset accounting is configured properly, the migration has been confirmed properly. And apart from that, in the general ledger accounting, in my controlling, in my uh, rest of the functionalities, there is not any functional change as such, only the changes are relevant to my technical storage of data. Right, so I think that is this is what I have prepared for today, and if you have any doubt, you can ask the questions. Otherwise, we'll meet next week with the larger sessions now, because as I told you, from next week we are going to have the session of at least 2.5 hours, and it depends on the question and answers. If there are a lot of questions, it may exceed, and if there are less questions, we may end up the session of 2 hours only. Okay, any questions, or we can close for today? Sorry, I missed that chat screen. Can you just retype? Just copy and paste, please. To what extent you will cover IBP? IBP is a separate module. It will not be covered in details. Only thing we are going to see is how our financial planning, which was done earlier in our existing system, how it has impacted and how we are going to do the planning in IBP. Apart from that, IBP is a completely big module. It covers all your different modules. It covers your SD, MM, everything. So I don't think in this course we are going to touch upon all that functionalities. But yes, whatever functionalities are impacted as far as financial accounting is concerned, we are going to have the look on it. Okay, guys, if no questions, we can end for today. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you so much, Gaurav.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gaurav.